Welcome, everybody, to episode 69 of Overdriven, the ODRL podcast. As always, joined by the return of Hendrick. What up, Hendrick? Back from Daytona 500 weekend. How was that?
What's going on, everybody? 500 went pretty good. Fun time in Daytona Beach.
Very nice, very nice. And as always, we're joined by Bren. What up, Bren?
Hello, people. How you guys doing tonight?
We're doing good, I guess. Yeah, we're doing good. Nice Thursday night. Boys, it was a nice Michigan weekend. Both races went as expected. One being more favorable than the others just because of the drivers, I guess would say. One was looked at as very meh or bad. I don't agree with it, but it's a judgment, so I don't, it's their judgment, whatever. What was your thoughts, Bren, on the Michigan Premier race?
In general, I thought it was kind of boring. It was if you had to have the person ahead of you to make a mistake, even with fresh tires, it was really hard to make moves. I felt like there was no middle to low lane at all. Like you couldn't really make moves. It's kind of like Kansas 2.0. I think a lot of people compared it to Kansas, and it kind of was like that. Even fresh tires didn't make a difference, in my opinion. So you had to kind of work your way through the mistakes, try to not make a mistake yourself, don't hit the wall, keep yourself into the fight. Honestly, the only thing really good about this race is that in the third stage, we didn't have any cautions, so all the strategies played out. So I can see from that perspective, like you would like that because you actually love seeing the strategy being played out from pit strategies, but from a driver point of view, it's fun in that aspect, but from the raceability and just having general, just being able to move yourself to the field, it was just not as fun as I would like. I think it's a track issue. I mean, we tried our best for what we got, but I just didn't like it. I don't know how to describe it.
Yeah, I think it's the game aspect of these speedway races are really top heavy compared to like the Heat 5 bottom heavy feeders. I would argue that passing Well, I understand passing's tough. It's Premier Series, and whatnot. It's still going to be tough. But there's a whole lot of video of people going from the back to the front multiple occasions. So I don't know where the notion of no passing was available. I think it was I think it was a lot of patient people that made it like, okay, I'm not going to pass here. I don't want to try it. It was a lot of laying back, and that's what resulted in no passing. But from what I've seen a whole lot of video of people. Ironman won for the NXT race, going from 30th to first in 8 laps. So it's like it was very weird how didn't have Premier had that kind of patience to a point where NXT was more passable, and that's why I guess they were able to say they
I
enjoyed the
have
race more.
I have
Um,
my thoughts on that.
yeah, go ahead.
I feel like in Premiere we aren't as, I guess, we don't like to send it as much, if that's a word. We like to calculate our moves, I feel like, a lot more. Whereas for NXT, they have more trust and they're able to send it. I don't know what's the word for that. I mean, for me personally, if I'm gonna send it, I don't want to hit the wall. Like if I'm gonna make a move, I want to be able to send it and slide up and not hit the wall or lose momentum. Whereas I don't know. That's how for me, I just don't have that mindset to be able to slide up and send it,
Yeah,
whereas some people do. And if you can make those moves at those type of tracks where it's outside dominant, you're gonna be able to make moves, be able to get up to the front. It's just you have to be that way at those type of tracks. It's just how this game is. You literally
Yeah.
have to make moves that you wouldn't have made on Heat 5, but on this game, if you don't make them, you're not gonna be able to pass people.
very true. All right, we will bring in NLS as soon as he's able to do it.
What's up, boys?
He
Can you hear me?
is, yes, sir. The
All
winner
right.
of Michigan, the rookie, first, I think is like your third start in Premier, and you got your first
Second,
win.
but pretty close, yeah.
Yep. Um, so congratulations with that. You announced this week that you're going to Premier full time next season, so that's exciting as well. Getting that first win out of the way and not having those nerves going into next season, and knowing that you belong. Let's start with your opinion on how the race went, because you were also in it in NXT and the Premier race, and it was I would say it went very similar. But how was your experience in both compared to why the poll showed more favorable to the NXT compared to the Premier side?
So I do think it was very comparable between the two races. The NXT and the ODR and the Premier race both had the same kind of style of racing where it was really ringing it around the top, dodging other people's mistakes, not making any of your own. And really, I mean, my strategy for both was stick high side, let other people make mistakes, hit the wall, and bounce out. And it seemed to work out pretty well. The reason I think why it was so much more favored as a good race in NXT and a poor race in Premier is because those little mistakes, Premier isn't used to making all those little mistakes all the time, but you're running so close to the wall, it just becomes a very difficult track. So even though the races unfolded very similarly, I think Premier was more frustrated with all those mistakes because they're so much more used to having, I guess, not perfect races, but having near perfect races, if that makes sense.
Yeah, I can see that. That's definitely a fair point. They're not very stingy when it comes to gray rate. I guess they're very high end on knowing what a good race is, and I know they expect better from a Michigan race compared to Heat 5 was always a little mini Daytona, and now it became a Kansas 2.0, as Brent said in NASCAR 25. Going into your strategy, did you have the same strategy for both races? Because you also finished second in the NXT race as well. Just timed your run up a little slower than you wanted to with Tyreek behind you. But did you have the same strategy in both races that played out perfectly for you, or did you have to change anything up?
So the only thing I changed, and I'm giving huge credit to Stein for this, he tipped me off about what would happen in a green flag run if you took 2 tires for the very last stop instead of 4. In NXT, we didn't get to see that out because there was a late caution in stage 3 that kind of neutralized pit strategy there at the end. But because Premier went green flag out, I was able to pit for 2 late. That put me in the lead pack as opposed to where I would have been back way behind Sterlo, probably fighting for 6th, 7th. So massive credit to Stein for tipping me off on the 2-tire strategy late. That is 100% what put me in the fight for the win.
Definitely, definitely. Now let's look at your future here. Obviously, being a new Premier driver going into next season full time, you should have the opportunity to make your face and driving known throughout this playoff. Do you see a certain track coming up that you're circled like, oh, that's a great chance for me? Besides, Talladega, obviously, it's a good track. You have mastered the Graboid package better than I think a lot of other people early on. So do you have any other certain track that you're looking forward to that you can say, okay, this is where I'm going to make my stamp on Premier after Michigan?
Man, not Darlington. There is a very good shot that I wreck out of the NXT race and get. And people are like, "Why is this guy not running trucks next year?" I'm terrified of that place. I hate it. Iowa is the one I circle. I know I started off rough there in NXT with the Xfinity cars. I wasn't running lines quite as clean in traffic as I should have, but I was. Iowa is probably one of my best 3 tracks in the game, along with North Wilkesboro, um, and maybe a couple others of that similar style where you're putting in brake, picking up throttle, but you can't like dump it all at once. Those are the tracks I feel like really suit me. So I'm super excited for Iowa, and then the 1.5 miles I typically am pretty fond of, except for Vegas. I don't like
What was
Vegas.
your thought process on coming up to Premier? You had a great season at NXT, minus one little incident at Sonoma we won't talk about. But besides that, what was your thought process on coming up to Premier and racing with the with those kind of guys compared to the NXT?
Yeah. So number one, first and foremost, Mondays at the moment are much easier for me to attend than Sundays. I try to
Mm-hmm.
go out and party with friends on the weekends. That'll change once I graduate here in the spring. We'll see what life brings at me at that point. But right now, Mondays
Mm-hmm.
are way easier to make. So, and beyond that, I am here to prove that I am one of the best drivers on this game right now. This is absolutely the closest thing that NASCAR 25 has to a pro league, at least in my eyes. This is the best that
Mm-hmm.
I've seen. Um, and ever since this game dropped, I've been chasing better and higher quality leagues. So now that I'm finally here, I wanna prove the speed that I believe that I have.
Very good to hear. Very good. Thank you for that. Yep, we definitely agree with that. Well, man, you are doing phenomenal. I'm proud of you. You have risen through the ranks, as we'd like to see. And unless Bren or Hendrik have a certain question for you, I'll let you get back to that. I know you're in the middle of a Frank's Cup race right now, and you're currently in the top 5, so I don't want to bother you too much tonight.
I will.
But you done it. Go ahead, Bren.
All right, so obviously you got the playoffs coming up for NXT. What is your mindset going forward for that series as you try to
So
finish
with
it up?
yeah, looking at NXT playoffs, my big goal here is to stay above the bubble enough to make that final round. I've got a lot going on the end of this semester that may cause me to miss 1 or 2 races. I'm not 100% sure. So really, more than anything, it is post Darlington. Once I get through that track, it is to collect as many playoff points as I can and try to float my way into the final 4, and then just hope I can show up for all of those for all 3 of those final races. If I show up for all 3 of them, I think I've got a real shot at clawing back at least a little bit at Tyreek, aiming for top 2 in the point standings to finish out the year.
Very true. Very true. Tyreek will be
Okay.
Tyreek will be a very very fun battle, and I think you could do it. I think Tyreek's not perfect, so he
I
can
hope
he
he
can have a
doesn't.
mistake. For
If
the
this
story
story's proven
purposes, it just
anything,
should be a
though,
fun one.
yeah. Right now he's
As
about 1/hundredth faster than me every single lap, and I'm out of draft now, so it's gonna be rough.
oh yeah, but
Oof.
we're proud of you being here. You're a fast up and coming driver. We're happy to have you. We definitely agree on the pro league side of things. It's the best place to earn your craft, improve yourself, and we're looking forward to seeing what you can do. And I'm sure this won't be the last time we talk to you. You could be a NXT champion coming up. You could be, big time winner next season. Mark yourself down for playoffs already. So we'll talk to you soon, and good luck the rest of the night in this Frank's race.
All right, thank you, boys, for having me on. I can't wait for well, no, I can definitely pass next week. God, I hate Darlington, but 2 weeks from now, I'm excited for 2 weeks from now.
It'll be a difficult race, but good luck, and we'll talk to you soon.
Thank you very much.
All right, boys, we'll move on to NXT. As he said, joined. It was a interesting race itself. Iron Man, class of the field, I would say, with NLS as well, worked together really well together in those final laps. I know, Brent, you probably didn't keep your eye on it as much as Premiere, obviously, because you're in Premiere. Did you see anything from the NXT race that stood out to you? Did you watch anything? Do you hear anything about it from your team for you know strategy wise or anything?
In terms of strategy, NOS did post a little bit about the stages and stuff.
Yeah.
Whether or not that helped us in the premiere race, it did help a little bit, but overall, I was not able to watch the NXT race. I did tune in a little bit to Impact. He was running top 10, and then checking the results, and I don't know where he ended up. So, yeah, you can talk about the race. I didn't get to watch it, unfortunately.
Okay.
I think I went to sleep early that night.
I understand. I understand. I'll have to carry the show tonight just because you don't. You're not a very key eye on NXT. Hendrick has had a busy
commentate.
weekend, so it's not. It's like I got to carry the show for a little bit, but it's okay. It's okay. It was a fun one. I enjoyed it for the most part. NXT has really improved for the last 2 months. Have been really great racing, even better than Premiere at times. And I'm really happy for that. Hopefully they can get their shit together when go back to Xfinity cars come next season, and we don't have to have any of those growing pains anymore. But I'm really proud. It was very good Ironman. The class of the field with a couple other drivers, phenomenal win, and earn some more points for playoffs that going into this next round. So should suit him up better with that. Um, it was very fun though. It was very fun. We'll talk about these playoffs now. Was there any shockers that stood out to y'all in Premiere or NXT that advanced and didn't advance?
I think for
first.
NXT, the biggest shocker for me was watching GS not make it through to the next round. GS is top 10 in the standings. On the contrary, if you want to talk about someone that's really surprising that made it into the next round, I would have to say Dusty because he was the 16th and final driver in on points. So, seeing that his back was already against the wall and he at least made it through the first round, already exceeding expectations, that was a pleasant surprise. And then for Premier, I think the very obvious one would be Cowboys not making it in. It just hasn't been his season. He hasn't liked the game as much. It's really played into how his season has fared. I could even say Shocks too, considering he's been really fast. But Cowboys with his championship background, that one's been the big shock.
Yeah, he's the one that was like, I wouldn't call him a disappointment at all because Cowboys is not a disappointment at all, in my opinion. But I just think his wheel issues, as Brendan knows about, I think he's had some other issues going on, lag out issues type stuff. It's really cost him a lot in this game. He's had the speed for pole, and he just hasn't been able to put a whole race together for points, and it really struggled him. Shocks was a person who going into a Michigan race thought, okay, he should be good, but I think his own team owner had an incident with him, which really cost him. And then going into the NXT, as you said, GS, Impact and him had a run in that final stage, which really cost GS. I don't think he was going to make the playoffs either way with that run in because I think he had to gain 3 more positions with Impact to get those points made up, and then he lost the points with those with that incident and dropping back. So he finished like 6 or 7 points away. Ha ha, 6-7 joke. I understand, whatever. But yeah, that was a shocker. I understand the frustration there. But yeah, it was Savage was leading some of the Premier race. I thought he had a nice chance there. But just faltered in the end with strategy and not enough help. So interested to see where he goes from there. But yeah, it was a fun little our first wild card weekend. I know it was a 2 week wild card because trucks ran the week before. It's a very interesting thing. I don't know if we'll continue it. But it was very it's very interesting first thing of it. If we do continue, it'll probably be in a less draft centric track, heavy um less heavy, top side track, a little more driving ability like a Nashville or Gateway or something like that, where you're a little more driving that's in play for one of these wild card races that it's one race to get as many points as you can to advance. So yeah, that should be the future of that. Maybe I haven't really decided yet, but should be very interesting what we decide. For sure, going less on people in the playoffs. We have currently 16. I think going forward, I think we're gonna have like 12. I think we'll start at 12 drivers make the playoffs, and that should really little lessen the criteria of making a playoff, making you earn it a little more. But anything else stands out to y'all in those two races? I don't know if y'all were able to catch any of it, but anything that I missed or issues wise that y'all heard about that I'm forgetting about?
Not really.
Okay,
I'm
no
just
problem.
chilling here for real.
All right, we'll get some podcast questions. We got some really good ones tonight. We'll talk about the big news. Silly season has started, and it started with a bang. We're known for silly season. It keeps us entertained throughout a race week where it's not just racing; it's outside the track stuff and getting ready for the future and that kind of stuff. And there was some big WTF moments this week, I would say, and the biggest one was pumps. Um, the biggest one was pumps, and the interesting decision by JRM coming back, signing a driver coming straight
JRM.
from trucks when they expected to go at NXT, but now he's going straight from trucks to Premier. From what I can tell, it's a very what the heck moment for everybody not JRM, adminship or team ownership. So I'll start with Bren as he's part of it. What is your thought process going into? What is your thoughts on this new JRM acquisition of pumps going straight to trucks to Premier and how he's going to handle it?
Now, I will say this, Mets. First off, Pumps, before we even got into the NXT discussion with me, he discussed wanting to move to Ramir in the first place. That was his first thing, and we talked about it, and that's why we decided to go with NXT. But for now, this is a Sterlo and Impact decision. I
Mhm.
think overall, I think this move, they want to see how he does. I think the team in general, he was slated to move up next season anyways. Our goal was to get him in Premier anyways. So this move at least lets him get into the seat, see how he does, and if he settles in pretty nicely, he'll have experience and not be a rookie anymore. I feel like in general, running the Xfinity cars, I think this is our general idea. Xfinity cars don't handle like Cup cars at all. They're a different handling car. Yes, it gives an experience, but at the same time, you're running an entirely different car with different drivers. I think getting used to the Premier field next season, even if he struggles early on, will help him develop into a better driver as we go along. I think that's the thought process. And while it certainly is a bit rushed, I think in the end it will work out. It's just we'll see. It's a type of if he survives, he survives. If he doesn't, he doesn't. But I believe he will. He's a talented guy, talented kid. I think he'll learn, grow, develop, and we'll see how it goes. I'm excited because I know how good he is. I'm a little worried, but at the same time, man, if they believe he can do it, I believe he can do it too.
Yeah, it's one of those things where it's like, okay, what's the expectations here? Because you don't want to throw somebody at deep end like your situation when you joined this league. You were not used to big leagues. You were not used to big number, you know, 20 plus drivers, 23 plus drivers. you had to ease yourself into that. You were fast enough to be in Premiere, but you weren't able to handle that number of people, that quality of driver type stuff, and it really affected you early on. And it really affected your self-esteem, and your aggression wasn't to where it should be, or your conservatorship wasn't where it should be. So then it got to you. You left the server. Regretted leaving just because it was a quality league and you didn't really want to leave, but you felt pressured, um, penalty wise. You didn't want to move down to NXT, so you came back, and as a broadcast, you slowly worked your way back into be driving again. Got in NXT, then won a championship, earned yourself back into Premiere, and then you've
Shit
taken
was
off from
funny.
there. Even though you have your issues in Premiere, you still earned your spot in Premiere. Even before getting a wheel, even before showing your improvement with a wheel, you still earned your spot in Premiere. Um, so the issue with Pumps is he getting too early from the trucks to the cup cars, and that might be a more comparable uh, transition than it is with Xfinity cars, as you said, to cup cars. And the jury's still out. I am a naysayer just for the fact is I don't want to see him I don't want to see him leave the server being too in his head about it and having bad runs, and it takes a lot. It takes a lot for somebody to know you're in one of the best series in the game with that many people, and know that you have the speed in every other league. You can finish top 5 in every other league, but when you come here, you might be a 15th to 25th place driver on a weekly basis. And that's really hard for people to grasp. And he's a young kid who's coming up to the ranks. He's a top 5 prospect in this league right now. So that's my only worry. My only worry is not about his, you know, his him per, I understand. My worry is about him and his future compared. I'm not worried about, wrecking. I'm not worried about him being a problem or a hazard on track. I'm worried about his self-esteem going into first five races of a season, and like, oh man, I'm not ready. I'm not ready for this. I don't now I want to go to NXT because it's not gonna it's gonna be hard. Then you're gonna miss 5 races there, so you don't have the points to get there. And I'm not, that type of stuff. That's the only thing I worry about. I'm rooting for him. He's the up and coming driver. I know he's gonna be. I know they're gonna treat him like a rookie that he is in Premiere, and he's gonna earn his stripes. But Hendrik, what was your thought process when you heard this news that shocked the server about pumps coming from trucks to Premiere?
Well, I mean, to be honest, he is a top 4 driver in my eyes in the truck series.
Agreed,
Who
definitely agree.
has had success in terms of winning races. So I'm not shocked about it at all. I know he was definitely going to at least go up to NXT based on other rumors I've heard. But yeah,
Yes,
going
he
into
was.
Premiere, I will not lie. I definitely see a lot of caution with him going into Premiere. I know there was a Premiere race that he did that pretty much ruined his confidence a good bit. And I believe that if something like that does happen again next season, then there's going to be a lot of questions. So I think the real thing for Pumps here is he just needs to, have mid-level expectations to start the season off. Just get his footing set, because it's definitely going to be a lot tougher competition around him. But I do think that once he figures out, just exactly how he's going to fare in Premiere, I think he's going to be better as the season progresses. I don't see him being as good to start the season as he's doing in trucks right now, but I do think that once we get closer to midway in the season, next season, I think he will finally start to show his real speed.
Yeah, he's had his issues with his slight Premiere rides. I think he's had three starts. First one being, I think, Dover.
That
Could be
was
wrong.
NXT.
Was
He
that NXT? Was
struggled
Dover?
in
Was he
NXT
struck at
Dover.
NXT?
Yeah.
What was his
Yes,
three? What was his
and
3 premier races? I know Daytona was one he wrecked on the final, one of the
he
final
ran
laps by
Martinsville.
himself. Martinsville, he had a top. He said he had a top 10 car, and then fell off because of strategy. And he had another one. Oh, Indy. Indy was his first one, and then that's
Mhm.
where he had a 9th to 10th
Up and
place
run.
car, and then got a 12th, 13th place finish. It's going to be very interesting. I mean, we're going up on the roster count for Premier next season. We're
Yep.
going from 24 to 28. So you're gonna have some quality drivers, and some of them are gonna have to struggle. Some of them are just gonna, I trust them to not be a caution fest. I trust them to earn their stripes and slowly build themselves up, and know it's not a sprint. It's you just take it one race at a time and take your time and earn your stripes. And as Hendrick said, do the best you can and come out better in the end of a season, and then go and take the momentum into the next season. Do the best you can. I think we're all rooting for him. That was just the biggest shocking one, the shocking news of the week. And the other one was probably me. Me and me and Georgia Dog have decided to own a team together, and we're starting a whole brand new team together, which is going to consist of me running the Premier side, him running most of the NXT side, and then him still running the Doghouse side of trucks. So it should be interesting there. Did anything else stand out to you for silly season wise, guy? Anybody stand out to you? Getting signed. We talked about NLS moving on
I
up.
finally got
He earned it. I think he's the number one prospect going into it. What about Brent? What do you got?
finally got my truck roster set.
Did you get truck sauce? Have you announced it yet?
Yep. Yes, Impact has announced all of our signings technically. He has not fully
Okay.
announced it because I did sign a affiliate driver as well, so for next
Okay.
season. So I got a
Okay,
full
and
5 trucks.
now we got the news of Hendrick going up to ILM and NXT. So congrats on that, Hendrick. You got anything to say about that?
I do think that this is going to be the team that helps get me to the next level. There's some things that I haven't really gotten to fully take advantage of, or things that I haven't learned yet that ILM knows a lot about. So I think once I finally start to get that down, I think the finishes are going to start, showing even more improvement.
There you go. Did y'all think of let's go to a podcast question now, because we did those technically 2 podcast questions. But let me get to one. I know there was Bren one that I think he can answer. I don't know if he wants to or not. I don't know. I didn't really get the chance to look at them. 2 per questions for Bren. I noticed since Charlotte you have been a lot more aggressive on the track. Did you feel like you needed to be more aggressive, or was that to make sure you stayed top 8 in standings? Maybe. And do you think that the incidents you've been in last couple of weeks might impact your playoff run? How people might race you differently now?
Okay, so first and foremost, the last few races that I have been in have been a All-Star Open. Yes, I was over aggressive in that, and I think we rewatched the race. I will say, before Holy gets on me, I rewatched the race. Stage 1 was really where it was horrible. That was horrible. Besides that, I mean, in terms of staying in the points race, I will say I have been a little bit more aggressive, but I won't say that I've been wrecking people or even just being stupid about it. In terms of, besides the All-Star Open race, I've been really trying to be conservative as much as I can while also being aggressive, because I'm trying to get as many points as I can, because top 8 was my goal. I didn't want to run that wildcard race, and now that I'm finally top 8, now I gotta make up those points because I don't have any playoff points. So, do I think it will affect my playoff run? Not really. I think in general, most people know how I run. I'm not too aggressive to the point to where I'm gonna be people are gonna be annoyed at me. I've had a few incidents this season, but I feel like they're very minor. I don't think people hold grudges. It's definitely been a fun season. Playoffs are gonna be a fun run. I gotta make some points, but overall, I don't think anybody really holds a grudge against me. I think they're gonna be racing incidents. I'm not gonna do anything stupid. I'm just gonna have fun. Darlington is not gonna be. It's not a fun track though. I hate Darlington, just like NLS.
Tough one. It's definitely a tough one. You're going to earn your stripe there. It's definitely not Michigan, I can tell you that.
Same type of
But this is,
racetrack though. Top
I
lane,
mean,
baby.
yeah, but not like draft heavy.
I know.
Um,
Yeah.
here's a fun one though. What drivers make radioactive if we had that for ODRO? I think it's clear answer here. I mean, you could say Titterhead for his anger, Savage sometimes for his anger,
Are we
Sterlo.
doing
But
party chats?
the clear answer here is if anybody's watching Yoshi Racing / Parker stream, it's the funniest thing in the world. I watch it every Tuesday just for a laugh. I know it's to the point where I know if he has a bad race, I know I'm gonna have a laugh on Tuesday because I know how mad he's gonna get on that on his on his. It's funny. There's a video out there of you wrecking him in a pit road at Michigan. him going
Grass,
off,
dude.
him going off on you. What the fuck, Bryn? I wish I had audio. I don't know if it's able at the time to make that audio yet, but it's gonna be audio for the podcast eventually, and it's one of the greatest sound bites we've. If I could put it on a T-shirt, I would. If I could put it anywhere, I would. And it's just the funniest thing in the world. Every week he has something funny to say, and it's not intentional. It's just the way his graspy voice is, the way he always sounds like he's crying when he talks about when he's yelling about it. It's just funny. It's not a dig at him. It's just he cares, and that's what really makes it nice. And there's some instances where he deserves, I understand why he gets upset, but there's obviously the one where you wreck him in a Michigan. I cannot totally understand why you would get upset about that. And then we don't hear it in the voice channel. So it's nice to not deal with it in the
Oh, I
voice
hear
channel.
it.
And but you can hear it, and it's like, what the fuck, man? It's just funny. It's just
Trust me, I
it
felt
gets
guilty as
me.
hell. Trust me, I felt horrible, man. I hit the freaking grass like an idiot and
It's he
freaking
gets.
sent it, dude.
Hey Rex, he's clear the answer number one. He's the clear anybody. He should have 200 plus views, just people watching him. And it's clear. It's like you don't hear car audio. It's just his audio.
Dude,
You can hear him
his
breathing and seething sometimes, and his anger at somebody in front of him, and he's like, "Get the fuck out of the way." It's great. It's a great watch. It's worth it. Not for work. Not don't watch the audio. It's fun. It's so fun. I enjoy it every Tuesday. It's anger, happiness. He got really happy when he won the Chicago race, which he earned, and to hear him happy about that was it was great to hear, and it has both ways.
Chicago
I think he's
merchant.
the clear Chicago merchant. Yeah.
Chicago merchant, he knows it.
Yep. Yep. Yeah, I think he's a clear answer. Taterhead's anger sometimes. But here's the last one pod question.
Are you fucking serious, Bren? What the fuck are you doing?
Anybody can answer this. Somebody asked, with all the first-time winners, who do we see first-time winners the next one? Since we have NLS, we've had Fred Bob a couple weeks ago. What are y'all seeing first-time winners? Who's next on the first-time winners front? Anybody stand out to y'all?
Fucking serious, Bren? What the
I'll let
fuck are you
Hendrick
doing?
answer it first if he's got something.
You got anybody, Hendrick?
A first time winner. Has Shocks won yet?
No,
I don't think so. He's brand new.
he has not.
I think for Premier it would be Shocks. For NXT for first time winners, I would. NXT's really tough because I don't really know for sure. I mean, you can't really say NLS anymore because he's already won in Premier.
Yeah.
So I would, if I really had to make a pick here, I would probably say Tango.
Okay, that's a good one. That's a good one.
And then for the truck series,
You big dog.
Yeah, true.
no,
You.
I
Which
I
one?
would
The
probably
48.
I would probably have to say Wizard, in my opinion.
Okay, that's a good one. That's a good one. When he can show up, he's one of the best ones in truck. So I can definitely agree with that. I think you. I think you could be the next one. You know, I don't know about Darlington or not. I don't know if you've been able to do the practice you can do at Darlington. Um, but I think you have a chance of it. I mean, you have a, you know, Coda might be. Where we go? We don't go to Coda. We go to Lime Rock. So you could win that. We'll see what happens. You know, there's, as you said, there's many people. So it can any given week, anything can happen. Fred Bob showing it. LS shows up in his
I had
third
my
premier
pick.
race. Yep. You know, what's yours?
I personally, if I'm going for premiere wise, I think K-Therms has to eventually get it. I feel like he's deservingly so. He deserves a win. I think he would be the one that gets
Are
the
you
first
fucking
time winner.
serious, Bren? What the fuck are
And
you
then if I had
doing?
to go for NXT, I'm gonna have to look at their all-time wins, the current point standings and whatnot. I'm gonna ask you if they have a win or not.
Okay.
Does
Are you fucking
Mm.
serious, Bren? What the fuck are you doing?
Yeah, there it is, all its glory.
not the time?
There it is in all its glory.
Time.
Why are you serious, Brad? What the fuck are you doing?
Yeah.
What do you got, Brent? Ask me.
I'm pretty sure GS has a win, right? He won
Yeah.
NXT when I ran it. Yeah, okay.
And
It's
a
not
former
gonna,
champion.
yeah, it's not gonna be a playoff guy. Okay. Someone who recently just started. I'm gonna go with iTrip. Oh wait, he
Yeah,
already has
he
one.
won. He won. He
Does he
won
have?
truck this week.
He's
Won
won
his
trucks.
championship.
He
Yes.
won just last week.
He won last week. Okay.
Last
Well,
week.
I'm a week late. Damn it.
Yeah.
For trucks, I think he hit it on the nail. I think who'd you pick again? For the Tango? Yeah, I would say based on the guys who haven't won at all, I feel like a lot of these NXT guys they have at least one win. NOS obviously just won the Premier race. Iron Man's won multiple races in Premier. Lyle has won a race in NXT. Irish, he's won races in Premier. Lost has won race Premier. T-Stone, I think, has won a race in Premier. Dusty has won a race, I'm pretty sure, in Premier. If I remember correctly. I think he's won one.
Dusty, you
If
said?
he had,
Yeah,
yeah, I think
I
he's won.
think so. I do believe so. I think so. Yeah. I think I might be
Yeah,
wrong,
no,
but he might. I think he
yeah,
has one.
I think he has one. Yeah, based on the guys in NXT, I would go with Tango. Like Hendrik said, I think out of the guys that we have, obviously there's some new guys coming in that I do believe can win. Is just based off the guys that we currently have on the point standings. I would say Tango's probably your best option there if you were a betting man. And then for Truck Series, obviously I'm gonna go with Hendrik.
Pumps.
Pumps has a win. He's
Pumps
won
has a
in
one. I
trucks.
forgot. Pumps. Okay. Pumps has a
Yes,
one in
he's
truck.
won multiple
I can
times,
see.
I think.
I can see Pumps winning an NXT race though. I think if he gets an opportunity in an NXT race where he has a track
He's
and then
been
before he goes
close.
to Premiere, I think he has a chance. You know, he might. He's not the best. Hasn't had the best luck in Premiere, but I mean in the NXT along with Premiere. But he can come up with it. He has the momentum of knowing he's going to be in Premiere. You never know. You never know what's going to happen. That's the beauty of ODRL. You never know what you're going to see. Nothing's a guarantee. Nothing in this league is guaranteed. Not you don't show up weekly and know somebody's going to win. You earn it, and you cherish every moment you have with it. But we'll talk about Darlington now. There's a lot of talk about tough track here, not the greatest. It hasn't been the greatest in Heat 5 either. It was, it's a step. I think it's a step up from Heat 5 because you know what to do with the apron glitch and the apron being so loose. Um, what do you think is gonna go on, Brandon? What do you think is gonna happen in these three races at Darlington here? Do you find this wall is gonna bite you?
I feel like in the lower series, like trucks and Xfinity, or trucks in general, you're gonna be able to pass. I have a feeling that those series are gonna be able to pass because they're not as tight. feel like for trucks in general, just lower series, you're able to turn more. They're smaller in general, so I feel like they're easier to pass. They're not as tight. In terms of the racing, just like in Heat 5, you still gotta watch that corner exit off too, because if you don't if you don't exit low, you're still gonna hit that wall. I know the glitch is not there anymore, and I'm grateful for that. But 1 and 2 is still tight as shit, so do not run it like the glitch is still there. That's all I'm gonna say. Especially in cup cars. But in general, 3 and 4 is gonna be your passing zone. 1 and 2, you're gonna have to be hella aggressive. If you can make a move in 1 and 2 without hitting the guy on your outside, I will applaud you and be able to pass him. Then you deserve a gold medal and a lucky star. Overall, Darlington is a decent track to run alone. I think we'll learn the track as we go along. I think passing's going to be limited, but it's not going to be impossible. I think we're going to have a few guys who are going to be really aggressive, able to send it, be able to make moves. Guys like Sterlo, I feel like he's going to be able to make moves. Stein, he can be aggressive at times, a little over-aggressive, but I think he's going to be able to make moves. Line Cone, we know about how aggressive he can be, but I think this is one of the tracks that will suit him. He'll be able to make passes and stuff. So overall, track will provide decent racing. I think we'll have a few cautions. But we're gonna see how it goes. It's the first playoff race of the new game, so a lot of people are gonna change their driving styles up for a playoff race. We'll see how it goes.
Very interesting. Yeah, it's gonna be very interesting. Obviously, a long race for Premier on the side of things. NXT has a 25% once, it's a little less, and then obviously trucks 74 laps, so it should be a nice little difference. You really Premier drivers aren't going to be able to get a certain gauge on what they need to do on a Monday because of the NXT drivers having a little less laps. So it should be a long one. It's going to be a long one. You better get your sleep in, Brent, because
Good
you might not
God.
going to be bed until midnight. So get your shit
No.
together. You better get your shit together. And it's needed because it's a playoff race. So you better get going, man. It's no more. You got no playoff points to fall back on, right? So you better get going. You better learn that
Yep.
track and do the best you can. But we'll get our picks now. We'll start with the Truck Series. First time in a couple of weeks. We've missed them. We're finally back at them. As you said, I think it's going to be a little more passing, especially with these lower series. They're due for more mistakes than they are in the Premier Series. You'll get less people knowing what they're doing in trucks. You could
I think
have a
the
lot of
cars
loose
move
trucks
more.
coming out, and we'll see what's going to. It should be very interesting. Brent, I will start with you for trucks. Who is your first pick, and who is your dark horse for trucks?
So truck series at Darlington. Let me look through the roster. I think it's gonna be a playoff guy who wins it. I think the top 8 guys in the playoffs currently. I don't think did we preview who made it out of the round of 10 for the truck
Yeah,
series?
last week. Yeah, last week.
Okay,
we did.
cool. All right, so for Darlington, my main pick for this week, I'm gonna go with someone who we've been talking about him a lot lately. I want him to live up to the hype. I'm going with Pumps as my main pick.
Okay.
I don't know how good he is at Darlington, but I know he runs up front in majority of these truck races, and I feel like he'll do it again this week. And then for my dark horse, I'm not gonna go out a playoff guy because that would be too easy. And they're not really dark horses at this point in the season. They're top 8
Fair point.
points. I'm gonna go with. I guess he's a dark horse now. I'm going with Georgia Dog as my dark horse.
Okay. You consider him a dark horse. That's fine. Georgia Dog. Okay, Hendrik, I will go with you. You're in a battle for this playoffs. You got what, a like 50-point lead? You got a 35-point lead going into this round. How do you feel going into Darlington, and who is your picks for this Darlington event?
If Darlington has any similarities to Heat 5, then I'm not super concerned, but the lack of practice is a little bit troubling. But that being said, my primary pick this week, I am going to go with Pure Splash. He needs a
Okay.
big race to start this round off. He's below the cut line. He just made it into that round of 8 on that wild card race, and I think the momentum will not end in this round for Splash. I think he will be a great pick. And then for my dark horse pick, someone who's not in the playoffs or wasn't in the playoffs, that's had a pretty good stretch of races in terms of speed. I am going to go with Zay.
Okay.
Zay has had a couple of opportunities to where he could have won races. As far as I know, in 2 of the last 3 races, Zay was in the top 6. So I wouldn't be shocked if Zay does it again. And ironically enough, now thinking about it, speaking of him, it's the last 3 of 4 races where he's finished 6 or better. So I think he has another good run coming.
Yep, I agree. Definitely agree with you. I'll go with my picks, and we'll do the producer pick. I'm gonna go. This is a tough one. This is a tough one because y'all pick. Pure Splash was my number 1 pick. Let's see. Definitely going playoff driver, as Brent said. I'm gonna go left. I'm gonna go Do Prime here. I think Do Prime sets this. I think Do Prime. This fits Do Prime's way of racing, and I think he can finally get that win that he's had since I think week 3 of the season. And my dark horse is going to be. Let's see, dark horse. My dark horse is going to be. Tough one, dark horse wise. I'm gonna go the guy who finished second at Michigan for a dark horse. I think if this becomes a mileage game or a fuel tire saving game, like it should be, tire saving might become a thing. I think Trevi has a great chance of winning. He finished second at Michigan. I think he has a real chance here, and it should be very interesting. All right, producer pick. Who do you got for Trucks Darlington? I know who it's gonna be.
Who
Just
else?
say it. Just say
Who
it for
else
the people.
picked?
We got Dew picked, we got Pumps picked, we have Pure Splash picked for the main ones, and then dark horses were Zay, Georgia Dog, and Trevi.
All right, give me EXO then for the 71.
Okay. It's a good pick.
You thought I was gonna say someone else, didn't you?
I thought you were gonna go Holy. I
Yeah.
really thought you were gonna go Holy.
I mean, y'all take all the good picks. It's hard to.
Hey, Holy's a good pick. Holy would be
Yeah,
a good
he
pick.
is a good pick. So is Austin. I'm just saying, y'all take like the main, what I would consider the main picks. Is
Oh yeah, when you have when you have 8 playoff drivers, you want to try to pick them for.
Hey, don't forget about
the
Lefty.
NFS.
He's
Ah
good.
yeah, lefties. Yep, awesome. Yep.
Left guys are
Dude.
good.
all right, then
all right, we'll go
I'll
with.
do Lefty as
go
my
ahead.
pick, and I'll have EXO as a dark horse if that's cool.
Okay. All right, let's go to NXT. Hendrick, who's your NXT pick?
Oh, sorry, mic was muted. NXT for me. Looking up the playoff grid. Okay. For NXT this week, my dark horse pick will again, I'm going to say Dusty.
Okay.
I feel like Dusty's got a little bit of potential to at least get himself out of 12th place and be either in the top 10 or above the cut line.
Okay.
So I could definitely see a good run for Dusty this week as a dark horse. And then my primary pick this week, go on ahead, and I know it's going to be a easy pick for me, but I'm just going to go Tyreek because he has nothing to lose. He's literally got double the amount of playoff points as second place does in points. So I think it throws a lot more possibilities into what Tyreek can do this weekend. I wouldn't be shocked if what he tries this weekend ends up working out for him.
Very possible. All right, how about you, Bren? Who is your main pick for NXT Darlington? And who's your dark horse? So that's a tough little track.
I will preface this by saying that I will have a third pick because he said I should pick him just for no reason.
You're not allowed a
my-
third pick.
Well, he just wants his name called just so he
course he does.
feels proud.
Can't wait to
My
hear
main pick. My main pick this week is Impact. I feel like the old man, this is one of the tracks where I feel like patience is a virtue here, and an old man has great patience. I'm joking, by the way. I think he finally gets his first victory on the season. I think this season has been, honestly, he wants a win, and I feel like this week at Darlington, while I do not know if he's good here, I feel like this is a track that will suit him. Tracks that really factor in patience and just throttle control, I feel like he's good at. So my main pick's gonna be Impact this week, and then my dark horse is gonna be someone who came into the series recently. I know him from my KCS days, Cage League. I'm going with Milk. I don't think he's really solid. I know he's got good speed. Whenever he runs, he's really improved on that. So my dark horse is Milk, and then my third pick, because he said it in the chat, is Spartan, just because he wants his name called. So you're welcome, Spartan.
Oh, Spartan. Okay, all right. Spartan is a premier driver.
He said he'll be running this race no matter what.
He ain't running this race. I'm gonna go. Who am I gonna go with? This is a good question here. I'm not going Iron Man. I picked him last week and won. I'm gonna go. Let's go with our guest this week. I think NLS gets it done. He can say he hates the track all he wants, but I know he puts time into a track. I think he comes out learning the track by the end of it, and sometimes he learns the track by the end of the race for those first two stages, and then comes away with stage 3 as the victor. So I think he has a real chance of getting up there, getting that victory, and getting himself right for that NXT playoffs. So I'm gonna go NLS, and then my dark horse is going to be. I'm gonna go. Somebody mentioned earlier about getting their first victory. I think I'm gonna go Tango. And that beautiful number 56 card, as y'all love so much, Brent. And I think I think I pick him every week. I think he has a real chance. He's the issue with Tango is he's just not aggressive enough when he needs to be. He's very conservative. Even in Premier, he has the speed, but he can be so conservative and not want to get any issues that he holds back a lot, which is great because you want drivers who know when to go. But when he needs to turn it up, he has to learn to go and not worry and do the best you can and worry about it in the end. You gain the respect around the cars around you to know, okay, that wasn't intentional. You're just being aggressive here. You're going for wins, that type of stuff. Once he gets that, I think he's a real championship contender. What about you, Mr. Producer? Who do you got for your pick for NXT?
I'm gonna go ahead and nab up that Iron Man and say he's gonna go back to back here.
Back to back Iron Man. That's not a bad call at all. Not a bad call at all. All right, let's get to the big boys now. Premier, Darlington, bounce back after Michigan. Tough race for all them. For them to, for them to be happier and having a better race. After no more wild card, now you got 3 races to get to here. Hendrik, I will start with you. Who is your main pick for Darlington Premier? The long one. Southern 500. Technically, it would be 300, right, for us? Southern 300? Who you got?
My main pick for this one, I will go with someone who has already won. And for me, I just see this being a race that is designed for Carrot.
Okay.
Carrot's like 3rd in the playoff grid right now, so he's got a lot to work with for the points. But for Carrot to really cement himself as like a heavyweight, this is a perfect way to do it. If he does get a win, it would put him atop the wins list among those in Premier with Sterlo. It would be his 3rd. And I think it would be a good time for him to do it this Monday. And then my dark horse pick, I will go with someone who actually just got eliminated, and I talked about him a little bit earlier today. I'm gonna go with Shocks.
Okay, that's a good one. I think he's a type of person who's not going to roll over because he's out of the playoff. He's a type of person who's going to show up and say, "I'm going to make you earn this, and I'm going to steal some victories and get my momentum up for next season." So I definitely like that pick a lot. All right, Brandon, who you got for your picks for Darlington Premier?
Okay, I'm really hoping none of the guys below the cutoff. No, I'm joking. If I have to go for it, my main pick this week, I'm gonna go with someone who hasn't got a win this season, and we've been discussing the playoff system, etc. I'm going with Cobra. Feel like
Okay.
he finally gets the win to prove himself, to lock him in, basically lock himself into the top 3 fight, in my opinion. Gets him closer to Carrot and Sterlo and Stein. I feel like that will finally submit himself into the championship 4 battle. And then my dark horse this week, I'm going with somebody that feel like he's sad that he got eliminated last week, but I feel like he finally got his wheel together. He finally got his lag fixed, and he feels like going forward he'll be a lot faster. I'm going with Cowboys. I think he's got his swagger back. I really do. I think his mindset has changed the last few weeks. I know he didn't have the best run at Michigan, but I think he got some bad luck there. But I really do feel like something changed the last few weeks, and he's going to be on it again. So just next season, watch out.
I think, yeah, on the Cowboys front, I think him and Tango have the same kind of thing, where they're very conservative, but when they have the speed, but they don't show it enough to have the speed. Is Cowboys is very, very respectful to everybody he's racing around. He drives with everybody respect, but he doesn't know when to turn on the aggression when he needs it. And this NASCAR 25 needs to be aggressive to make your moves, and you can't rely on just speed and hitting the gas better than somebody else. You have to be aggressive, manipulate the air, manipulate, drag in the cars to get yourself in position to where you can grab those position, keep that position, block it with arrow, do what you have to, and do the best you can. And that's the only thing he's really lacking, in my opinion. He's very conservative on it. He has the speed to start up there. We know he has the speed, solo speed. He starts in bowls a lot of the times, but it's just his aggressiveness needs to step up to a point where he can exceed and do the best he can. And I think he can do it. I really think he can do it eventually. He'll find it sooner or later. I'm gonna go with a guy who's getting his momentum back, getting his mojo back, and using his team to help him do it. And I think it's gonna be Spartan for this. I think he loves these long races where he can take his time with these cars, take his time figuring out what he has to do strategy wise, perfecting the strategy, and I think he can really do it. He was just a couple car lengths away from making a move at Michigan and taking that victory at Michigan from NLS. Um, so I think he's just getting his mojo back, getting the groove back, and he's eventually gonna get this victory. He's been searching for it for 14 races, but I think this is the final chance to do it. Not a final chance, but I think this is a chance to do it. So I think I'm Spartan for my main pick. And then my dark horse is going to be. My dark horse is going to be Savage. I think Savage, even though he's out of the playoffs, still going to go for it. I think he knows he has to be more aggressive in lieu of those other two drivers. He doesn't sandbag, but he doesn't like to be viewed as a dirty or aggressive driver. He likes to, even though he has his spins, sometimes his mistakes, which he spun somebody out, like in Solvable in the history, Spartan, he spun out before. He doesn't like to be that kind of person, and he's been holding himself back. And I think he knows that he has to show out better for the future. And I think it starts now. So I really think he has a chance here. And then let's go to our producer pick. Who do you got, Mr. Insolvable, for your premier pick for
I'm gonna
Darlington?
go with Well Dang. He's very
Well, dang,
good at
okay.
technical tracks, in my opinion. He does pretty well at them, and I can't remember quite what it was. His first race he did with this is a more technical track, and he was up near the front the entire time. So I'm looking for him to do well again this week.
Very true, very true. Well, everybody, thank you for listening. Thank you to LS for showing up, and congratulations on his victory at Michigan. It should be a fun weekend, and all 3 series back on track. Should be a fun one. Very excited for it. I know it's a tough track. Should maybe see some cautions, maybe see some strategy play out. But I'm looking forward to it. Trucks are finally back. NXT doing great the last 2 months. Hopefully they can keep it up. I know it's the toughest track they've been to since that hiccup earlier in the season in the premiere. To get back on track and have a happy playoff and get back to the better racing they want to do. I know it's very tough with these cars. These next gen cars, you want to call them, they're not really next gen anymore since we've been doing it for 4 years in real life, so it's not really next gen anymore. But it should be very fun. Shout out Sawbull for producing and getting that clip. Let's hear it one more time, Sawbull. Let's hear it one more time.
Are you fucking serious, Bren? What the fuck are you doing?
What the fuck are you doing, Bren?
Get
That's always
lost,
fun. Appreciate
Bill!
everybody listening. You still got some big news we didn't even cover. A lot of big. We didn't cover the Iron Man ILM signing of Irish, so that's a new alliance made at NXT for next season. That's an interesting one. There's a lot of silly seasons picking up. We'll find more. It's going to be very interesting next couple months and then into next season. So it should be very fun. Shout out Hedrix, thank you for showing up. Hopefully you had a nice trip to Daytona. Bren, appreciate you being here as always. And Solvable, thank you again as always. We'll sign off from here. See y'all next week for episode 70. 70 episodes of Overdriven, the ODRL podcast. Very happy about that. And thanks everybody for listening, and see you next week.
I can't believe I'm near